Okay, so for today, like I said on the notes before, we're inside range, inside yesterday's range. All the overnight action happened within yesterday's range, inside value. Today's options expiration. So what I'm looking at is to see if we break out from this range, go through the overnight high, and then depending on how strong, when we break out, then I would take those breakout trades targeting the levels that I posted, yesterday's high, VPOX, repairing of the push structure here, the single prints. I don't think if we move higher, I don't think we're gonna get much higher than this area, the 360, 370. And then on the lower end, 3900 has been supporting really good. So, but if we test it again, it would probably break. That's my guess. But like always, I don't know what's gonna happen. So all I'm doing is just having a plan, and if we get below the overnight low, look for yesterday's low, see how the 3900 acts. Don't just short it just because we cross it. See what happens. If anything, you can wait for a break. Then when it comes back, then you can short it, because it's never like a clean break and never comes back, right? Now, if you see that it's super strong selling, then you can jump with it, but I would just watch it first. And then if we get below that, then we can look for 3890. Then look at this single prints on the 3876, 3885 area. And then ultimately get to the 90-day point of control, 3845. And then see if we can keep moving lower. And that's it. I wouldn't trade in this area. This is gonna be choppy. It's gonna be a lot of back and forth, and we might get a lot of failed breakouts. Basically, looks like it's gonna break, and then comes back into this chop zone point of control area. Those are trades also that you can trade in, and if you see that it's a balancing day, we're going back and forth. If you see that we're breaking out of range and then it comes back, those are low risk, high reward trades, right? Like breaks out and then you can go short once it comes back in with a stop above the high, and then see if you can get back into the zone. And there's house inventories at existing home sales at 10 a.m. And then Fed Waller speaks at 1 p.m. And that's it. Let's see how we finish the week. So far the week, if we're not able to break previous week low, we're gonna have a week that broke out above the previous week high, came all the way down, and it's trying to break the previous week low, but so far it hasn't been able to.
So I just want to note something here. I'm just looking at the volume profile chart that I posted. Looking last couple of weeks and then looking at current month overall. So just kind of getting a bigger picture where we are. Last week we were able to close near. I think we were near the highs for the week. This week we're in a very similar range, right? If we're comparing last week's profile to current week's profile, so very similar range, but we are on the lower end of current week's range. So kind of in the last 2 weeks we didn't push higher, and we failed to follow through on last week's action. So we're kind of reverting back to the lower end of last week's range, and then we can look at current month profile. So I have a point of control for the month of January right around 39.16. So we're not too far off from there. So overall, we're inside balance for the month. Last 2 weeks was kind of a scratch, right? Bulls couldn't do it. Bears are trying, but we'll see what happens. As Gabe said, that we break last week's low, and we could potentially auction down inside the range that we saw for a couple of weeks at the end of last year. So a lot of chop. There's really no decisive action. And I think that you also have to consider that if you are trading inside of these ranges, you have to be pretty tight with your stops. Understand, where your stops are before you take the trade, because it's probably going to get a little whippy here.
And I just have to say that I feel honored to have Gary here in the room. That's a rare occurrence. Welcome, Gary. I don't know how many you know Gary, but he's an amazing trader. And if you want to contribute something, feel free to unmute yourself.
I'm looking for the 1,000 like.